This is Ben back with you in the Midwest Model Shop today. I'm very excited to finally be able to announce our latest product that we have available for sale. That is the 1/200 scale Titanic bench set in 3D printed resin. This is meant to be a ginormous time saver. This is what you're going to get, and essentially all you got to do is carefully remove the parts, paint them, and put them on your model. That's it. No tedious fiddling with photo etch, no bending anything right, no gluing tiny little pieces together with super glue and hoping you get everything aligned. We're cutting all that out. If you go ahead and click on this link right here, it'll take you to the video where you have to go halfway through the video, scroll right to about the midway point, and that whole half is dedicated to putting together the KA photo etch bench. It takes a long time. Those of you who've built it know that it's a huge pain. It's very difficult, and getting all the legs to line up and have your bench sit correctly, flat and level, is a huge undertaking. And if things go smoothly, you're like 20 minutes a bench, maybe, probably more like 45 minutes. If I had to do it today, I know it would take me a very long time because I'm out of practice. These are ready to go significantly faster than that. According to the KA instructions, they want you to go ahead and make, I've got them here, 38 of the large benches and 2 of the small benches. So I'm providing you 50 large benches and 7 small benches, just in case something doesn't go smoothly for you. Plenty of extra available. Figuring out how to print these was extremely difficult. So the design was very simple. I took exact photo images of the real Titanic bench arm supports and used that to get the detail right, all the scroll work right on the benches, and then added in the planks. That went fairly quickly. However, getting that into a print that worked was extremely difficult. I went through 5 different types of resins before I got one that gave me very consistent results. And by very consistent results, I mean about 80 to 90% of the time it prints correctly. The rest of the time, I can't send you what came out. It's close, but it didn't work. So it's been a huge undertaking. I tried once again to go ahead and optimize for the model builder what you're getting. Unfortunately, it didn't work out as I intended. So the product that you're receiving has these nice big 4 corners on it. Those are there to keep them a little safer in shipping, and believe it or not, to make it easier for me to remove from the build plate, wash and clean, dry, and then cure. Yeah, I had to do that. They come off fairly easily. On the bottom, you'll notice that there's the grid pattern under each one of these benches, and the intention there was to make it so it would be easy for you to cut away each one of the benches individually and have a nice stand underneath with the supports that makes it easy to paint, and then trim when you're done painting it and put it on your ship. Unfortunately, I had to make a compromise. It was the final product. If you cut the bottom pieces with sprue cutters, it's going to shatter and go every which way. Your benches should survive that, but you'll have kind of a mess underneath. I did create a version where, yes, you could cut it and they'd break away individually. Unfortunately, I couldn't get it off the build plate of the printer. It would shatter and come apart, and I had 50 little benches on my printer, and it was just a huge mess, and it did not work out. So I had to settle on close, right? So what we're going to do in this video is cover how I recommend you take these apart, how I recommend that you paint them, and then how to remove them from the sprues. You do have to be super careful with cutting them away. You're going to need a good set of cutters and a good eye or some magnifying glasses to cut them away properly. But once you do, you're going to have a bench that's just ready to go and sits level, and you're all set. I think that's all I really have to say about it, other than this is meant to be a huge time saver. Price. These are $30 USD. A lot went into this. A lot goes into continuing to make an individual one of these. And yeah, that's where we're at. And they're saving you a tremendous amount of time on the build and adding a lot of accuracy and consistency and ease. So that's what you're getting for your money. Shipping costs are the same as the anchor sets. So if you are in the United States, it's $5. If you're in Canada, it's $16. If you're in the UK, it's $18. If you're in Australia, it's $19. If you're in other countries, we have to sort that out still. If you buy this and you buy the anchor chain set at the same time to save on shipping, they both fit in the same box. Go ahead and select the shipping rate appropriate for your country. Squarespace may auto add like $2 or $3 for the extra item. If that happens, I will refund you the $2 or $3. You should not have to pay more to get both of these things if you want to save on shipping. That's it. I can't think of anything else to say, so what we're going to do next is get some more up-close pictures of these things, and I'm going to go through what I think is the best process for removing them, painting them, and getting your benches all set and ready to go. Yeah, feel free to shoot me an email with any questions. Links down below. Information's on our website also. And yeah, that's it. All right, folks, let's get into it. All right, let's get into it. This is your set that you're going to receive like so. And on the back here is a unique, nice little grid pattern. So that we don't get confused with what I'm going to recommend, the benches lay lengthwise on these patterns. I recommend that you cut them lengthwise into strips, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The difference will be with the little ones kind of in the corner here and on this one edge, depending on which one you get. And this is a spare set that didn't work out correctly, which is why I'm not shipping it, but I am going to use it for my demo purposes. So the first thing I would do is try and get rid of these corners, and that I think you can do with cutters by going into the corners. As you can see, I've tried to provide some kind of relief right there, and they will of course snap off and go flying everywhere. So maybe put on some safety glasses. Maybe we'll start here on this corner and just cut down, and it breaks off like so, and then we can get in here and cut away that part so we can get our bench exposed all nicely, right? And I'll show you here what happens if you just cut like this. It's going to shatter and break every which way. Now this one worked out. You've got your individual one, and that would be fine. Again, this is not what you are going to be receiving because this is a bad print. But what it will do is free up a lengthier row. If you want to use a Dremel, if you want to use a grinder, if you want to use what I even recommend here, a saw, to go ahead and start scoring these, you can. And go ahead and get this cut through to the point where you can snap it off into a row or cut all the way through. I just do recommend that you take some water and put it down here, and that way when you cut, the dust from the resin doesn't go flying everywhere, and you don't have to worry about accidentally breathing it in. So just continue going ahead and cutting like this, or use a Dremel, or whatever your preferred method is to get these apart, ideally in a strip. So let's move on to that. Alright, so after you cut everything out, in my opinion, this is the most optimal way to mass produce these things. You might find if you get impatient, you'll just end up with a bunch of individual ones, and that's fine too, right? But I'm trying to streamline this. So now that these are cut out, maybe give them a little bath in rubbing alcohol, but the next thing to do is get out your airbrush because it's time to spray paint. Alright, for paint I'm using Life Color RAL 8012. This is German Panzer Rotbraun, number 2102. I like this color. It does some neat things. So I have my little piece of cardboard here. I thought about doing a nice fancy background like all these pro guys do, but let's face it, this is what you're painting on too. So let's just do the same thing. So again, have your airbrush set up, you know, right, and you need a very thin coats of paint to get through. There's my compressor. to get through all of the beams. And what you want to do is just very carefully get the whole thing painted up. And as you can see, we're doing 5 at once. I should be wearing gloves to protect my fingers. Or you could go ahead and stick this on a stick, right? So that everything is covered the way that it should be. And the battery, of course, is dying in my camera, but you get the idea. Go ahead and paint those up. Alright, so now that we're back, they're painted, right? At this point, you can go ahead and try and paint them on the sprue, or if you'd like to do them one at a time, you know, it's no big deal. You have your individual one. I'm going to switch to a matte black paint. This is where it's up to you to decide what you want to do. Maybe you're into gloss black. Maybe you want any kind of flat black. I'm back to my this is a flat black from Life Color Paint, and so I'm gonna use a brush and just, I don't know, semi-carefully, not semi-carefully, glop it on here and get this detail all pulled out. You're going to need a fine brush with a very small amount of paint so you can get your detail like so. And you shouldn't have trouble getting around the front here. And don't forget, you just turn it around and come from the back side here as well. Just flipping it whatever way we need to get all this paint on here and get it done, right? And the backs of these benches are not super critical. I'm just doing it because why not? Because every single one of them is either positioned up against a wall or they're positioned up against themselves. A little bit on the front here, on the ship. Okay, so just like so, on this back one here. So the only thing I don't do is, me personally, I'm not fussing with that middle one a whole lot. You could come onto the back side if you want to, you know, and get a little paint on that, but do the obviously the center post on the bottom here. But I wouldn't worry very much about the front. That's all there is to it. So anyway, just go ahead and continue painting it on up and let it dry. Alright, so once you're done painting, and I've painted a bunch of these, this is where you're at. And this one's not even a very good one, but whatever. So go ahead and grab, this is what I recommend you do. I recommend you start at the top here. And very carefully with a good set of snippers, you can do one at a time, or you can be brave like me and snip off the whole thing like that. And then come down here and get rid of those things, right? That's what you're left with. Very carefully go to the next one. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. Cut. Get rid of this. Then you're down to the bottom. And I don't like the tolerances there, so I'm going to flip my cutters over and go the other way. I'm going to cut it from here. All right. Now this is what I'm left with. And same thing, going here. Very carefully. Trying to see what I'm doing here with the camera in the way. Oh, that wasn't a very good cut. But you get the idea. I could sand this off a little bit. See, I left my nubs down there. Let's see if I can do this. Now I can see. I should have flipped it around this way. And we're getting close. This is ill-advised. I'm just kind of screwing around at this point. You should sand these off. There you go. So then they're done like that, and then you just, there you go. a perfectly level, sits flat, no troubles bench. It's all set, and it's little. Some more denominations here. Where's a dime for the U.S.? That's it. They're set. So just do that for the rest of them. Real quick, before we get too far ahead of ourselves, here's one I cut off, and it's actually fine. But what I want to say real quick is, if you do what I just accidentally did and showed you, and you do want to sand it, make sure you sand front to back. Oops, sorry. Front to back, like this. Don't go sideways where you wiggle all of and potentially will snap off the legs. All right, it's much stronger front to back, very light sandpaper, light grit, cleans up, no troubles at all, and then you're good to go, and it'll sit down flat just like you want it to. All right, let's take a look at what we've got. All right, I don't have a fully assembled Titanic sitting around anymore. Mine's all in pieces, but I do have some scale decks. This is where you would drop a few of your benches in this example by these little dots. Again, these are the same scale as the ones from KA with the photo etch. These go like this, and then we'd have one. Let's see, these would be, I guess this is one you would see the back of, because it's, well, sort of, it bumps up against the railing, right? Like this. And then you're situated, and you have your you have your little benches all set and ready to go here, and they're all the same height and everything. In fact, let's do that. Let's go here on this little straightaway we've got. I go like this, and I go like this, because you know on the poop deck and the back, they all bump together, right? You got to roll like this, and then you got to take the back ones, the other ones, and put them on the back. Here we are playing with our benches, trying to set them up. Obviously this is, just a demonstration, right? I'm not taking the time to properly put them in the right spot. But anywho, look, they all, if I got this one in the right place, they all line up. They're all the same size. They're all the same height. They all sit level. Easy peasy. Right here, this is a real life KA photo etch one that I don't think made the cut when I put it together, or it was an extra. Yeah, I tried hard to do a really good job with these, and getting the ends to sit in the right spot so that the armrests are all at the same height and have it sit level. There's a lot of monkeying around, not to mention bending the thing in the first place. Or you could just go ahead and take these and come out and you're ready to go. So anyway, that's it. I hope that makes sense. Oh, and see here how that's bent and crappy. That's why this one's not for sale, and why I'm not shipping this set that I cut out, because it's not acceptable. They got to be straight, and they can't have any wiggles in them, otherwise they don't look right. So hopefully that demo made sense and you guys like it. Here's one. This gray one actually printed correctly. I should have painted it up. It's a lot better condition. That's all I have to say about that, folks. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Shoot an email if you got any questions. We'll see you next time.